Okay, so we are going to introduce ourselves to Python programming. And if you hear programming, don't think of it to be something far beyond your mind. It is just something for your mind. So I want you to tune in to this channel. I'll take my time and build it step by step, make it very useful. But before I start that, I want to ask, do you have your tools ready? Did you install the things I said you should install? Please, I need an answer.
Please, your voice is down. We can't hear you well.
My voice is low, and can you hear me
Yes.
a bit now?
Yeah, it's not that clear to me. I don't know the rest.
So you say your voice is low, say. But like you go start from my destiny.
Yeah, so if you're on your this thing,
Yeah,
then send me the link for WhatsApp. Then for send me a class link for WhatsApp. My speakers support is spoiled.
Sir, please, we can't hear you.
Okay, so I'm coming to share my screen now. Then we can see what's. Oh.
Please, I need to pause for a while because the screen sharing right is deprived from me now. So I'm calling Paul to give me that access so I can share the screen. But let's keep discussing something before he calls back for me to share the screen. You're supposed to have your Anaconda installed. And once you install the Anaconda, you will have Python automatically installed with a lot of what we call programming environments. Actually, the name is Integrated Development Environments. If you want to do any project, I mean, coding is a project that you want to actually do in terms of maybe programming a system or subsystem. So you need an environment to be able to do that job comfortably. So you need special applications for that purpose. Those applications are what we call the integrated development environments. For the purposes of our class, the one of choice is the Jupyter Notebook. By now, you should have read a few things, I mean, just read around them, so that when we start using them, you will now be able to confirm some of the things you were able to get, or maybe clarify some of the doubts you had about how those applications are used. So that's the premise on which we are starting this evening's or this afternoon's class. The premise that you have read a little around this application. You don't need to understand it 100%. That's why we have to meet, and we are meeting today. And you have also installed the applications. So as I share my screen, you'll be able to connect what I'm doing to your own application. So as I write a code in my notebook, you write the same thing in your notebook and directly see how it works. Programming is not like the other courses that you can be reading about it later. Here, you need to get involved. You need to be part of the journey. I do and you do. If you're able to get it to some good extent, then later you can go back and fill in the little gaps. I still don't have the right to share the screen. I've been calling him. I don't know why. His number is busy. So please, do you have the applications installed?
No, sir. Sir, please, which application?
The Anaconda.
Anaconda.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Mine is on it.
Yeah, sir, I've installed it.
Okay, so some of us have installed. Please, those of us who haven't installed, it will be very good you will install it. When you install it, you don't need to really understand it. That's the reason why I am meeting you today and beyond. Those who have been able to install it, at least they will see, which program is this? A lot of interfaces, what is it used for? So the moment I start doing something, we use this like this, we use it, they will be able to connect quick. Those of you who have not installed yet, you will not get the same speed as those who have installed. And it's going to hamper your learning a little bit. So I will advise that immediately. I'm still trying to connect with Paul. So if you have even internet around you, you can try to install. Or maybe you can just be putting some things down. Don't worry. Immediately after the class, you can install. We will not do the full 2 hours. I may do just about 1 hour and give you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What we are trying, You are getting Python, but not Anaconda.
Yes, when you install the Anaconda has inside it the Python interpreter, plus all the programming environment you will need. So just install Anaconda, period.
So,
And I'll show you
where,
how it works out.
okay.
Hello, are you okay?
We are now searching how to store on the.
Oh, just open a browser, go to Google and just type Anaconda, installing Anaconda or Anaconda download. It's a common application. So the moment you start typing Anaconda, it will be popping up to that you want to download Anaconda.
Oh, okay, sir. Yeah, I can finish on data then.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, madam.
I think Foster was made the host, so he should transfer the host to you.
Okay, is Foster on board? Foster, if you are on board, please do as she said, so that we can get the opportunity to proceed with my teaching. Uncle Paul.
So, can I give us try to install the.
Who knows Sedo Emmanuel? Emmanuel Sedo. Emmanuel Sedo. Emmanuel Sedo, I'm calling you. If you are there, respond, please.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, is it Emmanuel Sedo?
Hello. Yeah, that's Emmanuel Sedo. Hello.
Dr. Paul said he gave you the hosting rights. Give the hosting right to me so that I can share the screen and continue my lecture.
Sir, he gave it to Emmanuel Ankra.
Okay, don't worry. It's now active now.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess you can see something. Can you see my screen now?
Okay.
Okay, so those of us who were able to install the Anaconda Navigator, you can see something here. Anaconda Navigator. When you install, you can search for Anaconda Navigator. You can simply search for Navigator. There's some green circle. That's how the icon will be like. Click it for it to run. It will take some time to run. And then you will see this interface. For now, you just follow along what I'm going to do. When you go home, you have to go through the whole process again. And there are a lot of, tutorials, other things. I'll share a lot of links for you, which will help you to master these things. So the Python interpreter is sitting on your hard drive. It is connected to this interface. So this one, data spell, is a programming environment. You can open and type your codes and communicate with Python directly. This one, Anaconda Toolbox, also does something like that. What we are going to use, you can see a host of programming environments and other applications. The one of interest to us is Jupyter Lab, this one, Jupyter Lab. Jupyter Lab works the same way as Jupyter Notebook. Actually, the notebook is the classical version. The lab is an enhanced version of the notebook, which combines some other environments in addition to the pure notebook. So we're going to use the notebook. So when I launch the notebook, this is, you just click on, you look for this box and you click on launch like this. When I click on launch like this is what you will see. You will see that it will open the Jupyter Lab. It will open the Jupyter Lab in a browser. So when it opens, let me now go and share how the opening will be like. When it opens, you will see something like this. It will open in a browser. So the browser, which is a default browser on your computer, if it is Chrome, it will open in Chrome. If it is Microsoft Edge, if it is any other browser, that's what it will open in. So you will see here, notebook. And this is the symbol for Python. So the session of Python that you are going to run per that particular project is called kernel. So you can have several kernels based on several projects you are executing. So if I want to do a notebook thing, I'll click on this button to open a notebook, which is connected to the Python interpreter. This second one is console. The console behaves like the command prompt. That's not what we are going to use. There are also other tools here which are used for specific things. For now, let's be specific with what we want to do. So we want to do a notebook. So click, and most of the time it's notebook that we are going to do. So I click on this to open my first Jupyter notebook. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So when you see the screen, let me take some time to tell you about the interface. You will see this menu bar. As for menu bars or menu items, we have seen a lot about the things we do on computer. This is the file menu. When you click on the menu, you see a lot of menu items. The items are just about things you can do. You see edit, you see view, you see run, you see kernel, you see tabs, you see. We will be learning how to use these things as and when it becomes necessary. So let me jump to here. So you can see folder here. So when you click this folder, it opens this small place where you have all of your computer's locations, like your documents, your download, your contacts, a lot of other folders. So you can specify where exactly you want this project to be executed. But when you open a project, like I have opened for the first time, it doesn't know the project you want to do. So it gives it a default name called untitled.ipynb. The ipynb extension stands for Interactive Python Notebook. So that's the extension for notebook files. So when you open it for the first time, it opens here. So you can see it is here. I can rename it. So I can right click on it and choose rename. And then let me give it, so I'm going to call it switch computer applications. So switch CA, let me make it small. Okay, so it is now renamed. So that's basically about what this folder icon here will help you to do. If you have to know more about it as we move ahead, we will do that. And then the second button, which is like some round black dot with some square button inside it. When you click on it, you see all the kernels you are running at this session. You can have a lot of kernels running, but maybe they are not even in this window. So you can come here and see that, okay, sometimes when you have several kernels running, they take your system resources. So you might want to see, okay, how many kernels are running? Is it running the kernels that I want to run, or some kernels are running and I don't want them to run? So you can shut all of those kernels down. The way to shut the kernels down is that when you hover on a particular kernel, the kernel is simply the notebook that you are running. Like this, you'll see some close button here. Clicking on the close button simply means you have shut down that kernel. Okay, so now let's come back to the main interface. You see this box, or some rectangular box. It is called a cell.
Please, are you recording for us?
Yes, I'm recording for you.
Okay.
Yeah. It is called a cell. Notebooks have two main cells, code cell. So this is a code cell. And of course, you can also create a markdown cell. Markdown cell is simply a text cell. The reason is this: when you create a code to maybe run your analysis, you may want to provide narratives. You may want to provide explanations about the codes, maybe some discussions for it to be forwarded to whoever needs it. That's where you need the text cell or the markdown cell. So if, for example, for the first time we are coding, we need to put down some text, maybe some heading. See this, see here, you will see some drop-down arrow here. The drop-down means that you can have multiple things there. So you have code, and then you have markdown. The markdown is the same as the text. So when I choose markdown, now this cell has become a markdown cell. And then I can type. There are a few codes you need to learn about how to do markdown. If I want to do a title, I just have to bring this symbol, this hashtag, and then space. Then let me say introduction. Okay. When I do introduction, then I can run this cell. The shortcut to run it is to press Shift plus Enter. So Shift plus Enter. So you see that it becomes formatted like a normal text. So I can, if you want to go back and add some text, you just need to double click it. I can come down and write something. This is just the beginning. Okay, and run it again. You can also use this play button here to run it. So you see the title is there and it has some text. I'll share with you some good information about Markdown language so that you can learn the basics to do your narratives about your codes. But the default code is always a code cell. The default cell, sorry, is always a code cell. So when you do Shift plus Enter, it runs the current cell plus creates a new cell. But it doesn't make the new cell it has created an active cell. So if you want to make it automatically an active cell, you can use Alt plus Enter. So for example, if I do Alt Enter, it creates a new code cell and it is active for you to type inside it. Okay, so let me jump back. When I write a code here, I can execute the code because I'm in a code cell. For you to know that you're in a code cell, you see that when you click on this cell, you see that code is here. When I click on this cell, you see that markdown is here to tell you that this cell is a markdown cell. Okay. And then today I'm going to focus solely on the basics, which governs everything we'll be doing afterwards. In the code cell itself, apart from this markdown, which I'll use to write heavy text to explain the overall thing I'm doing, inside the code cell, you might want to provide small guidance to whoever is going to read the code. So what you do to pass a comment in the code cell is to use the same hashtag. If I use the hashtag in the code cell, whatever I type after the hashtag is seen by Python as a comment. So it's not run as a code. So let's say I'm going to create something. So I'm just creating a comment. So creating a list. And then I come down. Then I say my lists. Don't worry about what I'm doing for now. I will explain everything. My list equals equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe a list of numbers 1 to 5. Then I can run it. Maybe Shift plus Enter. So it is run. When it is run, you don't see anything. If it is something wrong with your code, then you will see something. You will see an error message. What I've done now is that I have created an object. Don't really worry about it. It will be a little bit difficult for the beginning. Very soon you'll be okay with it. I've created an object, and I'll tell you what object means in Python programming. The object name is called myList, and I've assigned this thing to the object. So in Python's memory, in your computer's memory, this thing is created. There's an object like a container, which is created. The name is myList, and then we have put this thing inside it. So now if I call myList, if I type myList, calling it is just typing the name, and run, it will spit the content of it out. Okay, so this is just to introduce, markdown cell and code cell. Whatever I have done, if you understand, fine. If you don't understand, there's no problem at all. Now let's begin to do something about today. In Python programming, everything is structured just around all the things we do, including very advanced things that our minds will find it extremely difficult to do, or maybe impossible to do. The computer is very good at scaling things up. Operations that require a human being to use the entire lifetime, his entire lifetime. A computer does it in a split of a second. And that's the importance of computers in our lives. You don't have to do things without a computer. So that's what Python programming is designed to use the computer's resources to help you do things. So basically, all the things in Python are the things designed for the everyday things you do. What do we do every day? Every day we do some calculations. Every day we store some data, and we want to apply some computations on the data. Remember, the computer is #1 at computation. That's why the name is computer. So it starts from the various basic things we want to do. I might want to do some calculations. So I can do 2 plus 2. And then when I do Shift Enter to run it, it tells me, okay, this operation is 4. This is the most basic thing probably you can do with Python, but this is not what it is designed to do. I can do 2 2 raised to 4. 16. It can do these basic computations for you. But in life, we do things which are more advanced than this. And how the computer, programming languages help us to do all of those things we do in life is to actually hold the things we do in the computer's memory and then use them as and when it needs to use them. So there is an idea called variables. For example, as a teacher, I may not want to do 2 + 2, 2 raised to 4, and so on and so forth only. What I might want to really do is maybe work on student scores. So I have to create the student scores, and you create it inside an object. The object is the same as the variable. So instead of typing 1, 2, 3 series of numbers, I need to store it in a name. In life, we store so many things. The basic information that we may want to keep may be in a list. So Python also has what we call data structures, which is built around the way we keep data. The most basic form of it may be a list. I want to keep a list. So I give the name of the list so that when I'm looking for the list, I can, okay, I stored it as this. So let's store it as scores because we are teachers. And then this equal sign is actually called assignment operator. So this is the name of the container, and I'm going to assign these values to the container. If you want to create a list in Python, you use square brackets. So square brackets are used to hold the things that you want to store as a list. And the various items in the list are separated by comma. It's as simple as that. So if the scores are, let's say, 10, 12, 20, 15. If this is the list, and I press Shift plus Enter, I have stored that scores data. And when I want to retrieve it, I just call the name of the object, scores, and it brings the list. There are many things we can do on a list. For example, we can add to the list. We can also remove from the list. So if I want to add to the list, this is what I do. I call the list name. The name we give to that list is called scores. Scores. Then there's another way we use square brackets. Apart from using it to create a list, we also use it to find a location called index. Index is a location. So all the items that we have put in the list, 10, 12, 20, 15, they all have locations. Python's locations start from 0. So the first item has location 0. The second one, location 1, location 2, location 3. So if I want to find the location 0, I just call the name of the object and then put before it a square bracket. This square bracket means indexing. It is different from the list. So now you know the 2 ways we use square brackets. So if I do 0, when I do this code, what I want to tell Python is that retrieve the first item in this list for me. And it says it is 10. When I do the same thing, scores, and I say -1. -1 is like counting from the reverse. So that is the last one. So -1. It retrieves 15, and you can see 15 is the last one. So you can do scores. Let's say the second element, 2, and it says it is 20. So this is how you can retrieve. This is very important because